All right, in this first example, they're giving us a 45-degree angle, 90-degree angle. So if you remember, all these angles have to add up to 180. So if you were to take away the 90 degrees, you get 90, then take away the 45, leaving you with 45. So that means that this last angle has to be a 45-degree angle. So it fits that profile of 45, 45, 90 triangle. So since we're going from the hypotenuse to the short leg, so what's nice about 45, 45, 90, we're only dealing with the square root of 2. We're either multiplying it or dividing it. So if we want to go from the hypotenuse to the short leg, we're making it smaller, so we're going to divide by the square root of 2. So x is going to equal 12 divided by the square root of 2. Can't leave it that way, so we'll rationalize it. And then that gives me 12 square root of 2 over 2, which is 6 square root of 2. And that would be your answer. And so that's what x is. And by the way, since it's an isosceles triangle, that means that this value would also be 6 square root of 2. I don't know why I put 6 square root of 6. But that's what that value would be as well. And so that's it for the 45, 45, 90. Those are the easier ones to do. And really, you don't have to do all this work here. I was just showing you. I wanted to prove that it was a 45-degree angle there, just to make sure we understand that it does need to be a 45 in order for that to work. And let's look at this one. So here we have in a right isosceles, or right triangle shown, not isosceles. So V is 30 degrees or 60 degrees. Making a bunch of mistakes right now. So this would have to be a 30, 60, 90. Think about it. 180 minus the 90 is 90, minus 60 leaves us with 30 degrees. So this has to be 30 degrees. And UV is 18. So in order to go to the long leg, notice this is the long leg. How do we know it's the long leg? Well, the long leg, if you remember, is across from the 60 degrees. And across from the 30 degrees of the short leg. So in order to get the long leg, we need to go back to the short leg. So if you remember from our 30, 60, 90 triangle setup, that, let me just write it real quick, that the short leg, if you have the short leg, the hypotenuse is double the short leg, right? So in order to go backwards from the hypotenuse, we're going to divide by 2. So this value right here is going to be 9. Now that we had the short leg, how do we get the long leg? Well, the long leg is the short leg times the square root of 3. So that means that x is going to equal our short leg, which is 9, times the square root of 3. And that's it. Last example here. So this time, notice we're starting, since this is 30 degrees, that means that this one has to be the 60. We're starting with the long leg, and we want to get back to the hypotenuse. And I believe this is the exact example I did earlier, but we'll go through it again. So in order to go to the short leg, well, if you remember that same model, I'll just draw it again. I enjoy drawing this, so I might as well just keep drawing it. So if you have the short leg, in order to get the long leg, it's the short leg times the square root of 3. So we got to go backwards to the short leg. So instead of multiplying, we're making it shorter, so we divide. So it's going to be 6 divided by the square root of 3. Now remember, we can't leave it as 6 divided by the square root of 3. We have to rationalize the denominator. And that gives us 6 square root of 3 over 3, which is 2 square root of 3. And the hypotenuse is just doubling that amount. So you just multiply that by 2, and so your answer would be 4 square root of 3.